The stellar dawn moved slowly through the dark space around Kepler 442. Captain Alex Morrison sat in his chair on the bridge, drinking his morning coffee. It was just another quiet day until the communication panel started beeping loudly. "Captain, we have an urgent message from Earth Station 7, said Officer Dave Kim, his fingers dancing over the control panel. The main screen flickered to life, showing the worried face of Admiral Roberts. "Captain Morrison, we need you to change course immediately. 3 unknown ships are heading toward the Proxima colony. They're not human ships, and they're not responding to our messages." Alex put down his coffee cup. In his 15 years as a captain, he had never dealt with alien contact. "How long until they reach Proxima?" 6 hours, maybe less. The Stellar Dawn is the closest ship with diplomatic protocols. We need you to make contact and find out what they want. Dr. Lisa Park entered the bridge just as the transmission ended. She was the ship's chief medical officer, a small woman, with sharp eyes who had studied alien biology for most of her career. "Did I hear correctly? We finally have visitors?" 3 ships, unknown species, Alex replied. "Lisa, I need you to prepare for possible medical contact. We don't know anything about their biology." Lisa nodded and hurried to her medical bay. She activated all the scanning equipment and started reviewing the first contact medical protocols. As the ship's computer began receiving data from Earth's monitoring stations, she watched the readings with growing confusion. The alien ships were sending out biological signals, which meant they had living crews. But the life signs made no sense. Heart rates jumping from 50 to 300 beats per minute. Blood pressure readings that should kill any living thing. Temperature variations that would cook most known life forms. Either their equipment is broken or these aliens have the strangest biology in the galaxy, she muttered to herself. 2 hours later, the Stellar Dawn reached the meeting point. Through the main viewer, they could see 3 large ships. They were beautiful in a strange way, made of what looked like dark metal and crystal. Each ship was twice the size of the Stellar Dawn. "Incoming transmission," Dave announced. The screen filled with the image of an alien that made everyone on the bridge catch their breath. General Koth looked like he was carved from living stone. His skin had a gray, rocky texture, and his eyes glowed with a soft blue light. He was easily 8 feet tall, with broad shoulders and arms that looked like they could crush steel. "I am General Koth of the Valdrani Empire." His voice was deep and rumbling, but the universal translator made his words clear. "We come seeking knowledge about the species called humans. We wish to establish diplomatic contact." Captain Morrison stood up straight. "Welcome, General Koth. I am Captain Morrison of the Earth ship Stellar Dawn. We are honored by your visit. Would you like to meet in person?" General Koth's large head tilted slightly. "That would be acceptable. We will send a small party to your ship. We hope to learn about human biology and culture." "Excellent. Dr. Park, our medical officer, can share information about human biology. We're very interested in learning about your people as well." After the transmission ended, Lisa felt excited and nervous. This was the moment she had trained for her whole career. She prepared her medical bay, setting up scanners and displays that would show human anatomy and physiology. An hour later, the Valdrani shuttle docked with the Stellar Dawn. General Koth entered with 2 other aliens. One was Commander Vex, the science officer, who carried what looked like advanced scanning equipment. The other was Captain Wren, a warrior who seemed to study every corner of the ship as they walked. Lisa was amazed by how they moved. Despite their size and rocky appearance, they were graceful and careful. When General Koth accidentally touched a wall panel too hard and left a small crack, he immediately apologized. "Please forgive me. We sometimes forget our strength around more delicate materials." "No problem at all," Alex replied. "Our repair crews can fix that easily." They gathered in the medical bay, where Lisa had prepared a presentation about human biology. She started with basic information, showing diagrams of human organs and explaining how they worked. Commander Vex held up his scanner and pointed it at Lisa. His expression, which was hard to read on his rocky features, seemed to show confusion and concern. He whispered something to General Koth in their own language. "Is something wrong?" Lisa asked. "Commander Vex is..." Puzzled by your biological readings, General Koth said carefully. According to his equipment, your body should not be able to function. Lisa laughed. What do you mean? Vex spoke in heavily accented English. Your heart rate, blood pressure, bone density, by our standards you should be dying. How do you remain conscious with such weak vital signs? Lisa looked at her own readings on the scanner display. Everything looked normal to her. These are normal human readings. We're all quite healthy. The three Valdrani exchanged glances. General Koth leaned forward. Dr. Park, could you explain how humans survived to develop space travel? Your bodies seem fragile. Fragile? Lisa smiled. I suppose we might seem that way. We only have one heart, unlike some species that have multiple backup organs. Our bones break if we fall too hard. We get sick from tiny organisms we can't even see. But we're tougher than we look. Commander Vex scanned Captain Morrison, who had joined them. His readings showed the same impossible vital signs. The aliens' confusion grew deeper. Captain Morrison, General Koth said, what kind of world do humans come from? Earth is a beautiful planet, Alex replied. Lots of water, diverse climates, millions of different animal and plant species. It can be challenging sometimes, but it's home. Challenging how? Captain Wren asked, speaking for the first time. Alex thought for a moment. Well, we have predators, animals that hunt other animals for food, weather that can be dangerous, storms, floods, extreme temperatures, diseases, natural disasters like earthquakes and volcanic eruptions, gravity that makes everything heavy, but every species deals with challenges. The three Valdrani went very quiet. They looked at each other with expressions that seemed like concern or even fear. Captain Morrison, General Koth said slowly, on our world, we have none of these things. We evolved in cooperation, not competition. Our environment provides for us. The idea of creatures hunting other creatures for survival is disturbing to us. Lisa began to understand that they had very different backgrounds. Every world develops life differently. On Earth, survival meant adapting to challenges. It made us resourceful. Commander Vex was still staring at his scanner readings. Nothing about human biology made sense according to Valdrani science. These creatures had single hearts pumping thin blood through weak vessels, carried their big brains in unprotected skulls, and somehow survived on a world full of predators and disasters. As the meeting continued, the Valdrani began to form a picture of humans that would soon lead to dangerous misunderstandings. To them, any species that could survive such a hostile world while being so apparently fragile must be hiding incredible strength and advanced technology. They had no idea that what they saw as weakness was actually the source of humanity's greatest strength, the ability to adapt, survive, and thrive against impossible odds. The next morning, General Koth woke up with a deep worry in his chest. He had spent all night thinking about the humans and their strange biology. In the Valdrani culture, when they couldn't understand something, it usually meant danger was coming. He called Commander Vex and Captain Wren to his private quarters on the Valdrani ship. The room was made of smooth crystal walls that glowed softly with blue light. Vex, show me those readings again, General Koth said, settling his large frame into a chair designed for his species. Commander Vex activated his portable scanner and displayed the human biological data on a crystal screen. General, I have scanned biological data from 17 different species across 12 star systems. Never have I seen readings like these. The display showed human heart rates, blood pressure, bone density, and cellular structure. To Valdrani, eyes every number looked like a medical emergency. Look at this, Vex pointed to the data. Dr. Park's heart beats only 70 times per minute. A Valdrani heart beats 200 times per minute when healthy. Her blood pressure would indicate severe organ failure in our people. And Captain Morrison's bone density is so low that simple walking should break his legs. Captain Wren leaned forward. But they move normally. They show no signs of pain or weakness. How is this possible? That is what worries me, General Koth replied. Either these humans have developed medical technology so advanced that they can function with dying Bodies or what, General? Vex asked. Or they come from a world so dangerous that what seems like weakness to us is actually strength we cannot understand. Later that day, both crews met again in the Stellar Dawn's main conference room for cultural exchange. The humans had prepared presentations about Earth culture, art, and technology. The Valdrani brought examples of their own crystalline art and peaceful philosophy. Dr. Lisa Park was excited to learn more about Valdrani biology. She had prepared detailed questions about their dual heart system, their silicon-based bone structure, and their incredibly efficient organs. "Commander Vex," she said with a bright smile, "your people are fascinating. Your redundant organ systems must make you very resistant to injury and disease." Vex nodded slowly. "Yes, Dr. Park. If one heart fails, the second continues. If our primary liver is damaged, the backup liver takes over. We evolved this way to ensure survival." "That's amazing," Lisa replied. "Humans only have one of each vital organ. If our heart stops, we die within minutes. If our liver fails, we need immediate medical help or we die within days." The three Valdrani exchanged those worried glances again. Captain Wren wrote something on a crystal tablet. "Dr. Park," General Koth said carefully, "how do humans survive with such vulnerable bodies?" Lisa laughed, not understanding their concern. "We're not as fragile as we sound. Sure, we can get hurt, but we heal pretty well. Our immune systems fight off diseases. We adapt to different environments, and we've developed good medical technology to help when things go wrong." Engineer Tom Brady entered the conference room carrying some tools and equipment samples. He was a cheerful man in his 30s, who loved showing off human engineering to anyone who would listen. "Sorry I'm late," Tom said, setting his tools on the table. "I was fixing the temperature control system in Section C. These old systems need constant maintenance." As he spoke, Tom pulled out a small cutting device to demonstrate human tool design. He activated it to show how the energy beam could cut through different materials. "This is a standard plasma cutter," he explained to the fascinated aliens. "We use it for precision work on ship repairs and construction projects." As Tom adjusted the settings, his hand slipped slightly. The plasma beam touched his left hand, cutting a gash across his palm about 2 inches long. Bright red blood immediately began flowing from the wound. "Oh, damn it," Tom muttered, looking at his bleeding hand. The three Valdrani jumped to their feet in alarm. Commander Vex immediately activated his medical scanner while Captain Wren reached for what looked like emergency medical supplies. "Dr. Park," General Koth called urgently, "your crew member is severely injured." Lisa looked over and saw Tom's bleeding hand. "Oh, that's not too bad. Tom, there's a first aid kit in the wall panel behind you." Tom walked calmly to the wall panel, opened it, and pulled out a small white box. The Valdrani watched in amazement as he cleaned the wound with an antiseptic wipe, applied some kind of medical gel, and covered it with a simple adhesive bandage. "There we go," Tom said, flexing his bandaged hand. "Should be fine in a few days." He sat back down and continued his presentation as if nothing had happened. Commander Vex stared at his scanner readings. The wound had been deep enough to damage multiple tissue layers. By Valdrani standards, Tom should be in severe pain, requiring immediate surgical repair, tissue regeneration therapy, and at least 3 days of recovery in a medical chamber. "Engineer Brady," Vex said in a shaky voice, "are you not in pain?" Tom looked at his bandaged hand. "It stings a bit, but it's not bad. I've had worse cuts from working on machinery. Last month, I cut myself worse than this while fixing the food processor. Needed 4 stitches that time." "4 stitches?" Captain Wren asked. "Yeah, they sewed the skin back together with thread. Healed up perfectly. You can barely see the scar now." Tom showed them a faint line on his other hand. The Valdrani looked horrified. In their medical understanding, using primitive thread to close wounds was something their ancestors had done thousands of years ago, before they developed proper healing technology. Dr. Park noticed their expressions. "Are you okay? You all look concerned." "Dr. Park," General Koth said slowly, "on our world, a wound like Engineer Brady's would require immediate surgery, cellular regeneration therapy, and extensive recovery time. How can he continue working? Human bodies are pretty good at healing themselves, Lisa explained. We form blood clots to stop bleeding, then new tissue grows to repair the damage. It takes time, but it works well. Tom's cut will heal completely in about a week. Without medical intervention, Vex asked. The bandage and antiseptic help prevent infection, but mostly his body will fix itself, Lisa said. Humans have been healing from injuries like this for thousands of years, long before we had advanced medicine. Tom nodded enthusiastically. Oh yeah, I've broken bones, torn muscles, had concussions, all sorts of injuries. The human body is tougher than it looks. I broke my leg skiing 2 years ago. Spent 6 weeks in a cast, then I was back to normal. 6 weeks? General Koth repeated. Faintly. Well, maybe 8 weeks until I was completely back to normal, Tom corrected. But I was walking around after 4 weeks. Commander Vex looked at his scanner again. According to Valdrani medical science, the energy required for a body to regrow, bone tissue, repair torn muscles, and recover from head trauma should be enormous. The fact that humans could do this routinely, multiple times in their lives, suggested biological capabilities far beyond what their simple organ systems should allow. As the meeting continued, the Valdrani began to develop a theory that would lead to dangerous misunderstandings. These humans, with their apparently weak bodies and single organs, were somehow surviving injuries that would kill most species. They were healing from wounds without advanced medical technology. They spoke casually about broken bones and head injuries as minor inconveniences. To the Valdrani, this could only mean one thing. Humans were far more dangerous than they appeared. Any species that could survive such trauma while looking so fragile must possess hidden strengths and advanced capabilities that they were deliberately concealing. General Koth decided he needed to learn much more about these mysterious humans before his people could safely interact with them. That evening, General Koth called an emergency meeting aboard the Valdrani flagship Crystal Harmony. The ship's main conference room was filled with his top officers, all looking worried. The crystal walls displayed data about humans that made no sense according to everything they knew about biology. Officers, General Koth began, his deep voice echoing in the chamber. We have a serious problem. These humans are not what they appear to be. Commander Vex stood up, activating a holographic display. General, I have spent the entire day analyzing human biological data. My conclusion is disturbing. Humans come from what we must classify as a Class 12 death world. Murmurs of concern filled the room. In Valdrani classification, anything above Class 8 was considered uninhabitable by intelligent life. Explain your findings, General Koth ordered. Vex pointed to the holographic display showing Earth's data. First, let us examine their planet's gravity. Earth has 1.2 times the gravitational force of our homeworld. This means humans live their entire lives carrying extra weight that would exhaust us within hours. Yet they move easily, run, jump, and perform physical labor without technological assistance. Captain Wren leaned forward. That explains their dense muscle structure. They are naturally stronger than they appear. It gets worse, Vex continued. Their atmosphere contains 21% oxygen. Oxygen is a highly reactive gas that causes rapid cellular damage in most species. We use oxygen in our industrial processes because it burns so aggressively. Yet humans breathe this dangerous gas every moment of their lives, Science Officer Dal spoke up. How do they prevent oxygen poisoning? Their bodies have adapted to use oxygen for energy production, Vex replied. They require this toxic gas to survive. Without it, they die within minutes. General Koth felt a chill. Continue your report, Commander. The planet Earth is covered with millions of species, and according to human data, most of them are designed to kill and eat other life forms. They call this evolution through natural selection. Species that cannot fight, hide, or escape get eaten. Only the strongest survive to reproduce. The room fell silent. Valdrani society had evolved through cooperation and mutual support. The idea of life forms deliberately hunting and killing each other was terrifying to them. Captain Wren checked his notes. And humans reached the top of this Death competition? Exactly, Vex confirmed. Despite having no natural weapons like claws or fangs, no armor like shells or thick hide, and no natural defenses like poison or speed, humans became the dominant species on their planet. How? Asked Science Officer Dal. Vex brought up new data. They are persistence hunters. Humans can run continuously for hours, following prey until the animal collapses from exhaustion. Their bodies cool themselves through water evaporation, allowing them to function in heat that would kill most creatures. They can survive on an enormous variety of food sources, including many substances that would poison other species. General Koth studied the data carefully. What about their social structure? They live in cooperative groups but also compete aggressively with each other. They have fought wars involving millions of individuals. Their history is filled with conflicts, disasters, and survival challenges that would destroy most civilizations. Commander Vex activated another display. But here is the most disturbing part. Humans deliberately engage in activities that trigger their survival responses for entertainment. What do you mean? General Koth asked. They call them sports and recreation. Humans will jump from aircraft thousands of feet above the ground, trusting only a fabric parachute to save them. They climb vertical rock faces using only their hands and feet. They race vehicles at dangerous speeds. They enter combat sports where they deliberately try to hurt each other. The Valdrani officers looked at each other with growing alarm. They do this for fun? Captain Wren asked. Yes, and children participate in many of these activities. What humans call normal childhood includes activities that would be considered advanced warrior training in our society. Science Officer Dal pulled up medical data. Commander Vex, what about their consumption of toxic substances? Ah, yes. Vex nodded grimly. Humans regularly consume substances called alcohol and caffeine that would be classified as poisons by our medical standards. Alcohol damages their brain function and liver systems. Caffeine overstimulates their nervous systems. Yet they consume these substances daily, often multiple times per day, apparently for pleasure. General Koth stood up and paced around the room. Let me understand this correctly. Humans evolved on a high-gravity world with a toxic atmosphere, dominated by surviving deadly competition with millions of predator species, developed the ability to persistence hunt, can survive on almost any food source, regularly consume poisons for entertainment, and deliberately engage in dangerous activities for recreation. That is correct, General, Vex confirmed. And despite all of this, they present themselves as peaceful explorers interested in cultural exchange? Yes, General. Captain Wren spoke up. General, there is another possibility. What if they truly are peaceful, and this dangerous background simply made them incredibly resilient? Commander Vex shook his head. Captain Wren, consider the implications. If humans consider their death world environment normal, what would they consider dangerous? If they view persistence hunting and combat sports as entertainment, what do they consider serious military activity? The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Furthermore, Vex continued, humans have been spacefaring for less than 200 years, yet they have already established colonies on multiple worlds and developed faster-than-light travel. Species from peaceful worlds typically take thousands of years to achieve such expansion. General Koth stopped pacing. What is your tactical assessment, Captain Wren? General, if these humans are truly products of such a hostile environment, they must possess survival instincts and fighting capabilities far beyond what we can observe. Their apparent fragility might be camouflage. Their peaceful behavior might be strategic deception. Science Officer Dal added, their ship, the Stellar Dawn, is classified as a science vessel, but it carries what they call standard defensive systems. If their death world standards define what is standard, their defensive capabilities might rival our military vessels. Commander Vex brought up the final piece of his analysis. Officers, I have been monitoring human stress responses during our interactions. When Engineer Brady injured himself, his stress hormones barely increased. When discussing their dangerous planet, their heart rates remained stable. These are not normal fear responses. Either they have complete emotional control or they genuinely do not perceive danger in situations that would terrify most species. General Koth returned to his seat. Commander Vex, what is your recommendation? General, I believe we are dealing with a species that has evolved into natural warriors through millions of years of survival pressure. Their peaceful presentation may be genuine, or it may be a first contact strategy. Until we understand their true capabilities and intentions, I recommend extreme caution. Agreed, General Koth said. We will continue diplomatic contact, but we must prepare for the possibility that these fragile humans are the most dangerous species we have ever encountered. Their death-world origin makes them unpredictable. As the meeting ended, none of the Valdrani realized that their fear was based on a fundamental misunderstanding. They saw humans through the lens of their own peaceful evolution, unable to comprehend that strength could come from adaptation rather than aggression, and that survival skills did not necessarily mean hostile intentions. The stage was set for a dangerous escalation, built on misinterpretation and fear. The next morning, Captain Alex Morrison felt good about the cultural exchange. The Valdrani seemed interested in learning about human culture, and he wanted to build a strong friendship between their species. He had no idea that General Koth was now viewing every human action as a potential threat. In the Stellar Dawn's briefing room, Alex met with his senior officers to plan the day's activities. Dr. Park, how did yesterday's medical exchange go? Alex asked. Lisa smiled brightly. Fascinating. The Valdrani have such interesting biology. Their backup organ systems are amazing. Though they seemed very concerned about our single-organ setup, I think they worry about how fragile we are. That's understandable, Alex replied. Different worlds, different evolution. What's our plan for today? Security Chief Mike Rogers looked up from his tablet. Captain, I thought we could show them some human recreational activities. Help them understand our culture better. I have videos of extreme sports, adventure activities, that sort of thing. Good idea, Mike. Cultural exchange works best when we share what makes us happy. Meanwhile, aboard the Crystal Harmony, General Koth was studying intelligence reports that made him more worried by the hour. Commander Vex had intercepted routine communications from the Stellar Dawn, and every message seemed to confirm their suspicions about human military capabilities. General, Vex reported, I have been analyzing their ship's technical specifications. Captain Morrison referred to the Stellar Dawn as having standard defensive systems. If this is their standard for a science vessel, I am concerned about their actual military ships. General Koth nodded grimly. What specific capabilities did you identify? Their shields can withstand direct asteroid impacts. Their weapon systems, which they call defensive, include plasma cannons capable of destroying small moons. Their engine system can travel between star systems in days rather than months. Captain Wren studied the data. These specifications match our most advanced battleships, yet they classify this as a research vessel. Exactly my concern, General, Koth replied. If this represents their civilian technology, their military fleet must be incredibly powerful. Science Officer Dal entered the briefing room with more disturbing news. General, I have been monitoring Dr. Park's medical scans of our crew. She claims it is for cultural exchange, but the level of detail suggests intelligence gathering. Explain, General Koth ordered. She scanned our cellular structure, organ placement, bone density, and neural pathways. This information would be valuable for developing biological weapons or targeting our physical weaknesses. Commander Vex added, and Engineer Brady's casual handling of dangerous cutting tools suggests advanced weapons training disguised as maintenance work. General Koth felt the weight of command on his shoulders. Are you certain these humans are preparing for conflict? General, Captain Wren said carefully, consider their behavior patterns. They smile constantly, showing their teeth. In most species, baring teeth is a threat display or preparation for attack. But they seem genuinely friendly, Science Officer Dal pointed out. That could be strategic, Vex replied. A predator species would naturally be skilled at appearing non-threatening until the moment of attack. Later that day, both crews gathered in the Stellar Dawn's main recreation room. Security Chief Mike Rogers had prepared a presentation about human leisure activities, hoping to show the peaceful, fun-loving side of human nature. "Welcome, friends," Mike said enthusiastically to the three Valdrani. "Today I want to share something important about human culture, how we have fun and challenge ourselves." He activated the main screen, which showed a video of humans participating in various extreme sports. "This is called skydiving," Mike explained as the video showed people jumping from aircraft. Humans jump from planes thousands of feet in the air, then use parachutes to land safely. It's very popular recreation. The Valdrani watched in horror as humans threw themselves from perfectly good aircraft, falling at tremendous speeds toward the ground. General Koth leaned toward Commander Vex. "Is this combat training?" he whispered. "It must be," Vex whispered back. "They are practicing aerial insertion techniques." Mike continued cheerfully, not noticing their concern. "And this is rock climbing. Humans climb vertical cliff faces using only ropes and simple tools. It requires strength, planning, and mental toughness." The video showed humans scaling impossible rock walls hundreds of feet high, with only thin ropes preventing fatal falls. Captain Wren made notes on his crystal tablet. "Advanced infiltration training," he wrote. "Here's whitewater rafting," Mike said as the screen showed humans in small boats navigating dangerous rapids. Humans love challenging fast-moving water. It tests quick reflexes and teamwork. To the Valdrani, this looked like river assault training. "And this is surfing," Mike continued. The video showed humans riding massive ocean waves on thin boards. Humans actually seek out the biggest, most dangerous waves they can find. The bigger and more dangerous, the more fun it is. Science Officer Dal shuddered. Only a warrior species would deliberately seek out dangerous natural forces for entertainment. Mike's enthusiasm grew as he shared more videos. "Oh, and here's mountain biking down steep hills, bungee jumping off bridges, and motor racing at high speeds. Humans love activities that get their adrenaline pumping." General Koth watched video of humans deliberately hurling themselves off bridges attached only to elastic cords, racing wheeled vehicles at speeds that would be lethal in crashes, and navigating deadly mountain terrain on two-wheeled machines. "Security Chief Rogers," General Koth said carefully. "How often do humans participate in these activities?" Mike smiled. "Oh, these are really popular. Millions of humans do extreme sports regularly, and we start young. Kids begin learning these skills in school. Rock climbing walls in gymnasiums, competitive swimming, team sports that involve strategic planning and physical contact." "Children do this?" Commander Vex asked faintly. "Sure, kids love adventure. Summer camps teach rock climbing, whitewater rafting, wilderness survival. It builds character and confidence." The Valdrani exchanged alarmed glances. Human children were receiving what could only be described as advanced military training from an early age. "Mike," Dr. Park said, entering the recreation room, "don't forget to show them the martial arts videos." "Great idea." Mike pulled up new footage showing humans engaged in various fighting disciplines. Humans have developed dozens of different fighting styles: boxing, karate, wrestling, mixed martial arts. These sports teach discipline, fitness, and self-defense. The video showed humans punching, kicking, grappling, and throwing each other in organized combat. "This is sport?" General Koth asked. "Absolutely. Very popular entertainment. Millions of people watch professional fighting competitions, and lots of humans train in martial arts for fun and fitness," Captain Wren wrote frantically on his tablet. "Hand-to-hand combat training widespread in civilian population. Oh, and here's American football," Mike continued, showing a video of armored humans running into each other at full speed while fighting over an oval ball. "It's like warfare, but fun. Players wear protective gear and try to advance territory, while the other team tries to stop them." Commander Vex stared at the screen. Humans were engaging in mock battlefield tactics, complete with protective armor, territorial advancement, and organized team assault strategies. "How popular is this football?" General Koth asked. "Huge. Probably our most popular sport. Played in schools, colleges, professionally. Whole families gather to watch games and cheer for their favorite teams." As the presentation continued, The Valdrani became more convinced that they were observing a warrior culture that had disguised military training as entertainment. Every recreational activity looked like preparation for combat, infiltration, or survival in hostile environments. What the humans saw as fun and games, the Valdrani interpreted as evidence of a species-wide military program that began in childhood and continued throughout adult life. The misunderstanding was growing deeper, and both sides were completely unaware of how differently they were interpreting the same information. 3 days later, the situation had become dangerous without either side realizing it. General Koth's crew was preparing defensive measures while still maintaining diplomatic appearances. Captain Morrison's crew was planning more cultural exchanges, completely unaware of the growing tension. The crisis began when engineer Tom Brady noticed unusual energy readings from the Valdrani ships. "Captain," Tom reported over the communication system, "the alien ships are charging their shield systems and positioning themselves in what looks like a defensive formation." Captain Morrison frowned. "Are you sure, Tom?" "Yes, sir. Their energy signatures match pre-combat preparations in our tactical databases." Alex immediately called Dr. Park and Security Chief Rogers to the bridge. "Lisa, have we done anything that might seem threatening to the Valdrani?" "Not that I can think of," Lisa replied. "Our exchanges have been friendly and educational." Mike Rogers checked his security monitors. "All our systems are normal, Captain. No weapons active, shields at minimum power." "Then why are they taking defensive positions?" Alex wondered aloud. Meanwhile, aboard the Crystal Harmony, Commander Vex was reporting to General Koth. "General, the human ship has activated scanning systems and is monitoring our formations. They appear to be analyzing our defensive preparations. They are gathering intelligence on our capabilities," Captain Wren concluded. "This confirms our suspicions about their military intentions." General Koth felt the weight of responsibility. "Prepare the fleet for defensive action, but maintain communication channels. We will not attack first, but we must be ready." Both sides began preparing for what they believed was inevitable conflict, each convinced the other was planning to attack. The breakthrough came from an unexpected source. Dr. Lisa Park was in her medical bay, reviewing all the data she had collected about Valdrani biology, when she noticed something important. "Computer, display Valdrani homeworld environmental data," she commanded. The screen showed information about the Valdrani planet: low gravity, stable climate, no predator species, abundant resources, cooperative evolution. "Computer, compare with human evolutionary environment." The comparison was startling. Earth's high gravity, extreme weather, predator-prey relationships, resource competition, and survival-based evolution were completely opposite to Valdrani conditions. "Oh my God," Lisa whispered. "We're not speaking the same language at all." She immediately called Captain Morrison. "Alex, I need to speak with the Valdrani right away. I think I understand what's happening." "Lisa, this might not be the best time." Tom detected defensive preparations on their ships. "That's exactly why I need to talk to them. I think there's been a huge misunderstanding." Captain Morrison authorized an emergency communication to General Koth. "General, Dr. Park has urgent information that might help our situation." General Koth's image appeared on the screen, looking tense. "Dr. Park, what is this urgent matter?" "General, I've been studying the differences between our worlds. I think we've been misunderstanding each other completely." "Explain," General Koth said carefully. Lisa took a deep breath. "Your people evolved on a peaceful world with abundant resources and cooperative survival. You developed technology through working together, not fighting." "That is correct. Humans evolved on a world that constantly tried to kill us. High gravity, dangerous weather, predators, diseases, natural disasters. We had to adapt or die." Commander Vex appeared beside General Koth. "Yes, we determined that Earth is a Class 12 death world. But here's what you missed," Lisa continued. "We didn't become warriors because of this. We became problem solvers. When faced with challenges we couldn't fight, we learned to adapt, cooperate, and think our way out of trouble." General Koth looked puzzled. But your recreational activities, your physical capabilities, your casual attitude toward injury, are survival skills, not military training, Lisa explained. We climb mountains because we had to learn to traverse difficult terrain. We swim in dangerous water because our ancestors needed to cross rivers and oceans. We play fighting sports because we needed to defend ourselves, but we made them into games to practice safely. Captain Morrison joined the conversation. General, when you see humans jumping from aircraft or climbing cliffs, you're not seeing warrior training. You're seeing how we learn to overcome our fears and limitations. Commander Vex spoke up. But your ship's capabilities, your advanced technology, are tools we developed to survive in space, Tom Brady said, entering the conversation. Space is even more dangerous than Earth. No air, deadly radiation, extreme temperatures. We needed good shields and engines just to leave our planet safely. Dr. Park pulled up comparative data. General, let me show you something. When humans first left Earth, our technology was actually primitive compared to most spacefaring species. But we were so used to adapting to hostile environments that space didn't scare us. We just saw it as another challenge to solve. General Koth studied the information carefully. Dr. Park, are you saying that humans are not a warrior species? We can fight when we need to, Captain Morrison replied. But we prefer to solve problems through cooperation and innovation. Everything you've seen, our resilience, our technology, our physical abilities, developed because we needed them to survive, not to conquer. Commander Vex looked at his data with new understanding. So when Engineer Brady treated his injury, so casually, he was showing normal human healing ability, Lisa explained. We've been getting injured and healing for millions of years. It's not special military conditioning. It's just how human bodies work. Captain Wren joined the conversation. And when Security Chief Rogers showed us extreme sports? Mike Rogers smiled. I was sharing what we do for fun. We turned survival skills into entertainment because we enjoy challenging ourselves safely. General Koth was quiet for a long moment. Dr. Park, you are saying that what we interpreted as military superiority and warrior culture is actually adaptation to a difficult environment? Exactly, Lisa confirmed. And I think I understand your reaction now. Your people evolved through cooperation on a peaceful world. To you, our survival adaptations look like weapons and military training. But they are not, General Koth said, slowly. They're tools for adaptation and problem solving, Captain Morrison confirmed. We developed them to work with our environment, not to dominate other species. Commander Vex checked his readings again. General, this explains the biological impossibilities I observed. Humans appear fragile because they use intelligence and cooperation to overcome physical limitations, not raw strength. Dr. Park nodded. We're successful not because we're stronger than our environment, but because we learn to work together and think creatively when faced with challenges. The tension in both ships began to decrease as understanding grew. General Koth, Captain Morrison said, I think our species could learn a lot from each other. Your cooperative evolution and advanced biotechnology could help us. Our adaptation skills and problem-solving experience might help you. General Koth smiled for the first time since first contact. Captain Morrison, I believe you are correct. We feared your strength, but perhaps we should appreciate your wisdom. Over the following days, both crews worked together on joint projects. Dr. Park and Commander Vex established medical exchange programs. Tom Brady and Valdrani engineers shared technology designs. Mike Rogers taught Valdrani security officers about human problem-solving techniques, while they taught him about peaceful conflict resolution. The dangerous ship had never been about weapons or military power. It had been about the dangerous misunderstandings that arise when two species judge each other by their own evolutionary standards. As the Stellar Dawn and the Valdrani fleet prepared to return to their respective homes, both sides had gained something valuable. The understanding that strength comes in many forms, and that different evolutionary paths can lead to friendship rather than conflict. The first human Valdrani cultural exchange would be remembered not for the fears it created, but for the friendship it eventually built through honest communication and mutual respect.